All right. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my channel if you're new, or welcome back. My name is Julie, and on this channel, I share stuff. I share stuff mainly pertaining to my journey with Christianity. I like to provoke thought and inspire discussion, I guess you could say. I think the main thing I was mostly ranting about here is just holding on if you're currently in a period of time where you're working a job maybe you don't like, you're living somewhere you don't like, you know that you'd be better suited to another kind of life, but you're just not there yet. My message for you today is to hold on, because I was there too, and I just kind of had the realization today, after 10 years of struggling and striving and confusion, that I'm finally in a place where I'm able to do something and devote my time to something that I really love to do, genuinely. I'm grateful and I'm humbled, but I'm also just reflecting on those 10 years I spent just working all sorts of jobs that I didn't like, I didn't enjoy. It felt like torture for me to just be in the world, just kind of parading as an extrovert when really I'm an introvert. A lot of times in the corporate world too, you kind of have to act like a man, and not in the way of overtly very masculine, but you need to kind of pretend like you're the same every single day, you have the same amount of energy, and as a woman you just don't. So there was like a lot of reasons why I felt like I was crazy in the past 10 years where I really wasn't. I'm just a woman who's an introvert. I like kind of doing solitary things for the most part. I love reading and researching and learning and creating and all that stuff that kind of made me a weirdo when I was living in the middle of Manhattan trying to keep up with the best of them, right? So there was years and years of that. And then there was also another 5 years in my girl boss entrepreneurship, building businesses, hustling, grinding era. And I mean, I wasn't able to maintain that naturally, if I'm completely honest with you. I needed to use caffeine and tobacco and Adderall and all sorts of stuff just to be able to keep up in general. And I'm only like really realizing this now, where I find myself, where I've been in Christ for 10 months now. Praise God, praise the Lord. It could make me cry just thinking about it. I have been sober that whole time easily. Hasn't even been an issue, but now I'm even cutting down on caffeine, which I only just recently realized was affecting me and is affecting everybody to a really dramatic degree, but especially women. A lot of our health issues and reproductive health issues especially, and PMS and all that comes from caffeine. So I'm like having a lot of realizations lately as I'm cutting that out too, and realizing that even just from that, my body has been in fight or flight for years. So when you start to strip down all the layers, you start to really find out who you really are. And I've only just started to realize that all of the traits that made me feel kind of like a big weirdo, kind of like I didn't fit in, especially in the corporate world, for example, being a naturally kind of open and honest person isn't really appreciated in that kind of space. It's almost not even appropriate, I would say. More of a type B person, more creative, just all these things that in the normal world I just was ill prepared for, and I just didn't fit in, and it was such a struggle for me, and I didn't understand why I was struggling so bad. It seemed like everyone else was like kind of okay with it, and I just wasn't. Like, I was deeply, 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 deeply depressed. And then even while I was an entrepreneur, I was more free, but I had so much pressure, self-created pressure, but pressure nonetheless, to profit. And it was just, there's a part of me that's like that. There's a part of me that I could think in business terms. I inherited that, I think, from my grandpa. But it's not the full me by any means. And once I was finally able to drop that armor in a way and drop those arrows of just kind of always needing to strive and produce and being in this very masculine state of being, I started to really notice who I am and how God made me. And I'm only just now starting to be able to realize how I can use those traits for good, to possibly, I don't know, at least be a comfort to other people, that you're not alone if you're going through these kind of things. I've been there, and I am now out on the other side. As it stands now, I feel like things could always change. You know, I don't know. I don't know what God has in store for me. I have no idea. But as it stands now, for the last year, I have been able to live out in the country, in nature. I have a lot of space and I have time and I have privacy, and I have wanted these things for years. For years, and it's only just clicking for me now today because I've been preparing for my next video, my upcoming video. I really kind of want to have my facts straight for that, and I want to be kind of as well educated as I can be on the topic that I'm preparing to speak on, because it's important and because it's controversial and because I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for it either way, but I feel like it's important enough to share where it doesn't matter. It's like Paul says, if I wanted to please people, I want to be a servant of Christ, right? So anyway, I've been spending a lot of time really mulling things over and preparing and researching. I really want to have my stuff together for this next video. I just had a thought today of how cool is it that doing that, just fixating on this one topic and researching it and studying it and reading the Bible, I could technically say that's my job. I earn a very, very small income from YouTube at this point, which regardless, I'm so grateful for. Praise God. It is so cool to even be able to earn anything doing something like this that I love and that I feel like has a true meaningful purpose. I would be doing this even if it would never pay me a cent, and I knew that for sure. So I don't know, I had this thought today of like, wow, that's actually really cool because that's so well suited to my personality, and never before in my life have I had anything that I could call a job that was that well suited to me. I always had to kind of play a role. I always had to alter myself a little bit. I always had to kind of be something and someone that I wasn't, just to make ends meet. So this is the first time in my life where my natural traits that haven't always been appreciated in the past, it's just starting to click as to why God may have given me those traits, because I think He gives us the personality traits that we have, the inclinations that we have, the interests that we have for a reason. It's to serve the purpose that He has in mind for us, and to serve our best self in a way too, to help us be our most fulfilled selves, I guess you could say. So the fact that He brought me here where I am now, He's put me in a situation that is kind of unique. It's not something I could have thought up on my own. It's not something I went after. It's not something I achieved on my own even. Like, I think some people might hear my story, my background, and kind of assume logically, oh, like she worked for 10 years until she started doing this. She probably prudently saved her money and bought herself a nice little property or something. Nope, that's not what happened at all. Nope, it was just completely and entirely God that, I don't know, I had an idea that I wanted to live in the country, and I kind of had this yearning to be in the environment that I'm in and to live the lifestyle that I've been afforded to live the last year at least. But it wasn't of my own doing. I didn't seek it out. I didn't strive towards it. I wasn't able to do it on my own. Everything that has led me to here has actually been through people. It's not really been through my own prudent, wise financial decisions or anything like that. So I don't want anyone to feel bad when I share these things, because I know I see other creators who, an example is Hannah Lee Duggan. She's this girl who, she bought this cabin in the woods, and she's kind of shared her whole journey with that, and now she has this cool house on top of it, and she travels with her van, and it's clear that she's kind of got her stuff together. I have a lot of respect for her. And she inspired me. I remember first seeing her video of her buying that little cabin in the woods and being like, ooh, like, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. So I'm not there yet, but I'm in the woods, so I'm close. But I thought that was so cool. And I remember seeing her videos and other people's videos like it and being like, I could probably do that. Like, that looks really fun to just kind of create these little worlds that you could create in videos. I mean, I don't even do that now. She does way cooler stuff than I do. She like sets up for cool shots, and she's like in different places, whatever. I'm just here in a field yapping away for 50 minutes straight. I mean, it's not like some artistic genius thing I'm doing here by any means, but it's still really, really fun for me to do. And that's what has just, I've had this realization lately that the things that spark that kind of joy, that kind of motivation, that kind of, ooh, yeah, this feels like me, like this feels right, are the things that we all should be pursuing more And it's unfortunate that many of us do not have the time or space or resources or energy to do so, because we have to spend so much of our time just making ends meet. So I feel like if you're simply just kind of aware of what your ideal life really looks like, and if it is God's will, He will work with you. He will provide it for you. It might take time. It might take a good amount of time. Like I said, there was literally 10 years of struggle and confusion and strife for me before I got to a point where I am now, which could always change. I'm always like, I don't really know. But until I got to a point where I realized today that what I'm doing is something I love to be doing, and I have the time and space to pursue it, and I didn't have that before. And it's all Him. It really is all Him. And so I just wanted to share that today for anyone who might be out there, you're working a job you're really not crazy about, or maybe even hate it. You get up in the morning, you're like, please take me out of my misery. Like, I've been there. I have a miserable commute. You don't have time to do all the things that maybe you would like to do. You're trying to focus on being a responsible, prepared adult in America, and it's not easy to do. It's not like how it was for our parents or our grandparents in terms of being able to just work a normal wage job and buy a house and like do normal stuff. Like, it's not like that for our generation. And so it's so defeating to be stuck in that world and still probably, for most people, be living a quality of life that is still not even what it seems like our parents or our grandparents had by our age. Like, we a lot of us are not able to buy a house in our 20s or even our 30s. A lot of us are renting, a lot of us have roommates, a lot of us are maybe relying on our partners to kind of get by. It's not that easy out here. It's not that easy out here. So I just have so much compassion for people in that state. I don't know how long it's gonna last for you, but I just know that when I look back on all of those times and all those jobs that I had and all of those like moments of just, is this what life is? Is this what I'm here to do? Like, this doesn't seem right. This doesn't seem natural. Like, I want to be free. I want to be outside. I want to do my own thing. I was not really well prepared for the working world. Let's just say that. I just wasn't with it. Like, the structure of it, just not being able to make my own schedule and do things in my own way was really, 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 really tough for me. So I commend people who are out there and they're able to do it and they get it done, but there's this kind of lingering underlying feeling that, oh my gosh, I just want to be free. I just want to be able to do what I feel passionate about, what I feel drawn towards, or even just living like a slower pace of life where you're not required to pay all these bills and do all these things. And I don't know. I understand that so much. I have so much empathy for that. I'm just sharing that I find myself in a place now where finally I'm looking around and I'm realizing that God put me here. He did it. What I've been wanting for years and years and years, and it wasn't really from any efforts on my own. I didn't like do anything to orchestrate this. That's what's really crazy about it. He delivered, and I think that He knew that if He delivered it any sooner than He did, I wouldn't have been ready to use it in the way that He wants me to use it. So I don't know. I don't know what the future holds for me. I just am so grateful to have fully clicked for me today. And it just made me think about, yeah, if there's anyone out there who's kind of in the midst of that struggle and they know that they want to be living a different kind of life than they're currently living, and they just don't know how they're going to get from point A to point B. I mean, plenty of people are going to tell you, well, you got to do this and you got to do that and you got to save and you got to do your credit and you got to do this and that. I'm not saying don't do any of that, but listen, I didn't do any of that. Not for lack of wanting. I was a girl in my 20s trying my best, and I didn't get here because I saved really well or I have a really good credit score. I don't, or anything like that. It was literally just straight up God. He put me here and He brought me into a situation where I was pretty much forced to acknowledge Him. After a certain point, I was brought to a state of feeling so confused and so lost, and I didn't know why I was here at first. I really didn't know. I was like, okay, I mean, I love this nature and stuff, but there were a lot of things in my personal life that were making me really sad and really confused, and I was supposed to already be married by now. I probably would have been pregnant with my first child already at this point if things had panned out the way I thought they were panning out and what they were on track to pan out like. before I was saved, before I encountered Christ. And that just changed absolutely everything for me. And so that's why I'm so passionate about it. It's been 10 months. The passion has not left me. I just keep kind of going deeper and learning more, and that's why he's so good, because he will make your circumstances in such a way where it serves his purpose for you. And it might not make sense in the moment, but it's becoming more and more obvious as time goes on that this is truly what God has laid out for me and has probably had in mind for me for years before this has happened, even possibly since my birth. And it's the same for you. And so I just wanted to kind of give you a little update and a little pep talk if you're needing it today, that yeah, if you're in the midst of a struggle and you're currently living that life that I was living for over a decade, that I felt like, man, something about the modern world just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel natural. The pace that we're supposed to be living at, and we're supposed to just be living to work, not working to live, and all of those things were such a huge pain point for me. So if you're in a situation like that, where you are having to work jobs you don't really want to work, you're having to do things that you really don't want to do just to survive, just to put food on the table, first of all, I commend you and I respect you, and I get it. I really do get it. And it can be kind of annoying sometimes to see content creators or influencers, whatever, just being like, yeah, so it's Tuesday and today I made avocado toast and I did Pilates and I answered some emails. It was a really crazy day. Like, it could be really annoying to see that when you're like, okay, well, I woke up at 5 and had to spend 10 hours in the office and blue fluorescent lighting and a cubicle that I can't see out of, and my coworkers are super annoying, and my commute was 2 hours each way, and I come home and maybe my kids are going crazy and my wife or husband is wanting this or that. I don't know. I went through all of that as a single woman, so I actually can't even imagine what it would be like on top of it to have a family that you're responsible for too. I'm just like, wow, when I think about that. But yeah, if you're in a situation like that, I just want to say that hang in there, hang in there. You don't know what God's plan is for you. You don't know why he's putting you through the things he's putting you through now. All of those jobs that I felt like were torturous that I had in my early to mid 20s, and the businesses that I had that just I was under so much pressure to make enough money to live and then some from scratch every single month for 5 years straight. So it was really stressful. And yet all of those things that I did accumulatively helped me today. All of those different skills that I gained and the people that I met and just the things that I learned, at the very least, I'm still probably naive. I'm still gonna look back on myself 5-10 years from now and be like, okay, you just still didn't know anything. But at least now I can kind of relate. I can kind of understand. I'm not this like super sheltered person who's always been able to live this perfect life and do whatever I want 24/7. Even now my life is nowhere near perfect. There are cons to everything, trust me. I always say that because I don't know. There's kind of an epidemic these days of people. Everybody is showing their highlight reel. Everybody's showing the best parts of their life. Very rarely do we see people kind of posting the not highlighty things, unless they're just straight up posting themselves crying and sobbing on the internet, which is also kind of weird. I've done that, but it's weird to do. I haven't done it again because I'm like, I don't like doing that. It's weird. No judgment to anyone who does, because maybe that's helping someone out there too. I don't know. The point is all of those times in the past where I just didn't understand what was happening, I felt abandoned, I felt lost, I was struggling, I was confused, all of that stuff now makes sense in retrospect. And it's always like that, isn't it? Like, things that happen to us that are really troubling or difficult or challenging in the moment, we'll look back on months from then, years from then, and be like, wow, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be here, or I wouldn't be doing this, or I wouldn't have met this person, or I wouldn't have gotten this job, or I wouldn't have gone to this place, whatever it is. It's just like, wow, for some reason it's just really hitting me, and I'm feeling really fired up about it for some reason, because I'm just so grateful. Because for me, it could have only been God. So I don't know, if I hadn't gone through all of that, I would probably be kind of out of touch and a little annoying. I think I'm a little annoying now because I always come back to this message that I just feel really compelled to share, that you can do whatever you want in this world. If you feel really called to do something, if you feel a spark of joy, or you feel a spark of just kind of that almost like childlike giddiness a little bit when you do something, that could be what you do. That could be your work. That could be a part of your purpose here. And I kind of don't like the separation that a lot of us are forced to have between what we're passionate about, what we're good at, what we're kind of put on this earth to do, and what we have to do to make a living that a lot of times really drains us of the life force and the excitement and the energy we need to do the other thing. I just feel like our world would be so much better if we had just a little bit more of that going on for each and every person. I feel like there'd be a lot less kind of bitterness, honestly, because once you start focusing a little bit more on God and yourself and just what can you do to not only better yourself, because there's this kind of like self-improvement never-ending hamster wheel that you can go on. It's not exactly that, but it's kind of just like, what can you do to become who God has intended you to be? And I feel like he gives us these clues based upon how each of these activities or endeavors make us feel. So anyway, I don't know what just happened. There was no part of me that was thinking I was gonna make a video right now. I was literally just sitting out here on my little wooden plank in the middle of the field. And I was just yip yapping away to God, just telling him how grateful I am and how amazing he is. He loves our praise. If you ever want to get his attention, just start praising him. He loves it. But yeah, I don't know. I just been really thinking about that today and feeling really fired up and just, I don't know. I don't feel like this every day. I definitely don't feel like this every day. So I'm just taking advantage of it while it's here and sharing it with you in hopes that maybe it inspired you a little as well. So yeah, anyway, I think that's it for me for now. Thanks for joining me today. I hope that was helpful for you or sparked something in you. If you have any thoughts, feel free to leave them in the comments. I always love hearing from you guys. So far, all of my subscribers are super cool, super smart, super interesting. I love you guys. I think you're awesome. I love that I get to put myself out here and attract other people who are like-minded to the channel. I just think that's so cool. I don't know. I'm in such a good mood randomly, so hope that's not annoying for you. Anyway, thank you for watching and listening, and I hope you have a great rest of your day or night. All right. Bye.